What's up, football fans? Today is absolutely packed with drama. Chelsea are ready to test Barcelona's resolve for Fermin Lopez. The Bellingham family got into it with Dortmund staff. Rodrygo has made a big call on his Real Madrid future. Lucas Vázquez says goodbye to Madrid and hello to Leverkusen. Liverpool and City are fighting for Marc Guehi. Chukwuemeka signs on the dotted line with Dortmund. Garnacho turns down Saudi millions. Rabiot edges closer to AC Milan. Vinícius Jr is targeted with a monster Saudi offer. And Kairat Almaty make Champions League history. Let's break it all down. Let's start in Spain. Chelsea are circling Fermin Lopez, one of the brightest products of Barcelona's La Masia academy. At just 22 years old, Fermin has already shown flashes of brilliance this season. Great close control, an eye for late runs into the box, and plenty of energy. Reports say Chelsea have already made contact with the players' camp and even given a short deadline to respond. Barca would love to keep him. Hansi Flick has called him a future key player. But here's the issue. Barcelona are still juggling financial fair play. A €50 million bid would be difficult to ignore. So now the big question. Does Fermin stay loyal to Barca and fight for a starring role in the new era? Or does he take the Premier League leap, following in the footsteps of other La Liga talents who've made England their home? Over to Germany, and this one is messy. During Dortmund's 3-3 draw last weekend, Jude Bellingham was subbed off at halftime. That didn't sit well with his father, who reportedly confronted Dortmund officials near the dressing room. Emotions boiled over, and the club has now introduced new rules. Family members and advisors are no longer allowed in restricted areas. This isn't the first time player families have clashed with clubs. Remember Neymar's father? Or even Haaland's father occasionally weighing in. But for Dortmund, a club famous for developing young talent, this is especially sensitive. They need to protect Job's growth without distractions. It's also interesting when you consider Job's brother, Jude Bellingham, who left Dortmund in 2023 for Real Madrid. Jude left on great terms. But now the family name is at the center of controversy. Will this impact Job's standing at the club? Or is it just a one-off heat-of-the-moment incident? Now let's head back to Spain. Rodrygo has ended speculation by deciding to stay at Real Madrid. Premier League clubs were sniffing around, especially after talk that Madrid could bring in another winger. But Rodrygo made his case on the pitch, scoring, assisting, and showing versatility. New coach Xabi Alonso reportedly likes his professionalism and tactical flexibility. That sealed it. Rodrygo stays. For Madrid fans, this is huge. Rodrygo has developed a reputation as a big game player. Remember his Champions League heroics against Manchester City a couple years back? He might not always start every game, but when the stakes are high, he delivers. And in a squad filled with talent like Vinícius Jr, Bellingham, and now Endrick, keeping Rodrygo adds serious depth. Speaking of Madrid departures, Lucas Vázquez has officially left Real Madrid after a long career at the Bernabeu. And here's the clarification. It's Bayer Leverkusen, not Bayern Munich. At 33 years old, Lucas has been a loyal servant, over 350 appearances, multiple Champions Leagues, and known for his reliability whether at right back or on the wing. Now he joins Leverkusen, who are quickly becoming one of the most attractive clubs in Europe. This is a smart signing. Leverkusen already shocked Germany last with their unbeaten Bundesliga campaign. Adding Lucas brings experience and leadership, qualities that can help the younger squad members in Champions League battles. Expect him to slot in as a utility player. Back in England, the race is on for Marc Guehi. The 24-year-old Crystal Palace defender is one of the most sought-after centre-backs in the Premier League. Liverpool are pushing hard. They see him as a partner to Virgil van Dijk and a long-term replacement as their backline evolves. Manchester City are also watching. City have depth, but with injuries and squad rotation, Pep Guardiola is always looking for reliable defenders. Here's the kicker. Guehi himself is reportedly leaning toward Liverpool. He wants guaranteed minutes, and at City, that's never a sure thing. Palace, meanwhile, are holding firm for a big fee. Reports suggest upwards of £60 million. If this move happens, it could shake up both title contenders. Now for some official business, Chukwuemeka is staying at Borussia Dortmund. After joining on loan from Chelsea, Dortmund have triggered the permanent deal, worth around €25 million plus add-ons, with a contract running until 2030. The 20-year-old midfielder has impressed with his ability to glide past defenders, control tight spaces, and add creativity in the final third. For Dortmund, who have built their reputation on nurturing young stars like Haaland, Sancho, and Bellingham, Chukwuemeka feels like the perfect fit. Chelsea fans are divided. On one hand, Carney showed promise. On the other, Chelsea's midfield is stacked with talent: Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher, and others. Letting him go could backfire if he explodes in the Bundesliga. But right now, Dortmund looks like the perfect platform for him. Here's a major twist. Alejandro Garnacho has rejected a massive offer from Saudi Arabia. The contract would have made him one of the highest-paid young players in the world. But Garnacho said no. Why? Because he wants to keep playing at the highest level in Europe. Even more, his preferred destination is Chelsea. Yes, Garnacho sees himself in blue. Chelsea have already been linked with multiple attacking talents, and Garnacho could become a centerpiece in their rebuild. This is fascinating because Garnacho is currently one of Manchester United's brightest prospects. If he does push for a Chelsea move, it would spark one of the biggest intra-league transfers in years. Imagine the headlines. United losing Garnacho to their rivals in London. Over in Italy, Adrien Rabiot's next move is taking shape. Reports suggest AC Milan are making serious moves to sign him. Rabiot has always been a polarizing figure. Talented, athletic, and versatile, but sometimes inconsistent. At Milan, he'd bring Champions League experience and physicality to a mid. One interesting detail. Signing Rabiot could force Milan to offload another midfielder. Rumors say Yunus Musa might be the one to make way. That's the reality of squad balance. Every arrival means someone else's future is questioned. Saudi Arabia's transfer power continues to shock. Vinícius Jr has reportedly been offered a contract worth hundreds of millions. The numbers being discussed are mind-blowing, close to $1 billion over several years. But here's the catch. Vinícius isn't interested. He sees his future at Real Madrid, where he's become the face of the club alongside Jude Bellingham. At just 24 years old, he wants to win more Champions Leagues, more La Liga titles, and eventually aim for the Ballon d'Or. Still, Saudi's persistence shows no signs of slowing. If they're making these kinds of offers for players in their prime, not just veterans, it's only a matter of time before someone bites. And finally, a true underdog story. Kairat Almaty have qualified for the UEFA Champions League group stage for the first time ever. They stunned Celtic in the playoff round, winning on penalties and sparking incredible celebrations. For Kazakhstan, this is a landmark achievement. Football there has been growing slowly, with investments in facilities and youth programs. Now, with Kairat on Europe's biggest stage, they'll get exposure, financial rewards, and the chance to test themselves against giants. For neutral fans, it's a reminder why we love the Champions League. It's not just about Madrid, Bayern, or City. It's about dreams, shocks, and new chapters in football history. And that's your full roundup. Chelsea chasing Fermin, Garnacho turning down Saudi riches, Vinícius Jr staying loyal to Madrid, and Kairat Almaty making history. What a day of football news. Which story surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you enjoyed the update, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's episode. Football never sleeps, and neither do we.